and welcome back to the live broadcast of the Olympic Oval Finale 2016. This afternoon we have the 3,000 meters on the docket for the women, and the first pair just started. In the inner lane, it's Isabelle Weidman from Ontario, and in the outer lane, it's Petra Acker from the United States. So the 3,000 meters is a 7.5 lap race, meaning they start on the backstretch and finish on the home stretch. And the second pair of this 3K is on its way as well. Sophie Hogan is in the inner lane with the yellow armband, and Josie Spence is in the outer lane with the blue armband. And again, my name is Leo Landry, and I'm coming at you live from the Olympic Oval. So coming by with 6 laps to go, it's Isabelle Weidman and Petra Acker. Close race so far. They are holding lap times of 31.9 and 32.1, so tight race for those two. And the second pair is coming through as well. Josie Spence looking strong, leading Sophie Hogan in. And her lap time is a 30.9, and Sophie Hogan 32.0. So after 600 meters, it's Josie Spence in the lead of this quad, the 51.78 split. Now our first pair comes through again, 32.0 and 32.5. So that's Isabelle Weidman holding the lead. Isabelle Weidman, young skater out of Calgary. She grew up in Ottawa, moved to Calgary 2 years ago. She had an excellent year this year, making World Cups for the first time, and had some very good results. Petra Acker is also a longtime member of the United States team. And they come through 31.8 for Isabelle Weidman, 32.8 for Petra Acker. So Weidman leading that pair. Josie Spence still on a strong race, 32.20 and 32.3 for Sophie Hogan. So Josie Spence holding just under 2-second advantage over Isabelle Weidman at the midpoint of this 3K race. Speaking of Isabelle Weidman, she comes through the line, 31.8, so she's holding her lap times under 32 seconds. Very good split for her. And let's see how Josie Spence can respond. And she slows down a little bit. 32.9, so positive split. Sophie Hogan's coming back on her. Let's see how well Josie can fight. Isabelle Weidman, look at that long, efficient stride of hers as she comes through. Lap time 31.50, negative split again. This is shaping up to be a great race for Isabelle Weidman. Josie Spence coming through. Josie is the second child of the Spence family. She has 2 or 3 siblings skating. And 1 lap to go for Isabelle Weidman. 32.0. Still a very respectable lap time. She's going to try and hold this lap around that same pace so she can finish really strong. Zuli Wang cheering her down the backstretch. And Josie Spence and Sophie Hogan coming into their last lap. And it's Spence 33.3, Hogan 34.0. Looks like Spence will take that pair. And finishing strong is Isabelle Weidman. Let's see what she posts. 4:05.10. That is a 1-second PB for Isabelle Weidman. Fantastic race for her. And Petra Acker will finish with a 4:12.82. It's about 3 seconds off her personal mark. Air pressure is getting lower in the building right now. Ice is getting fast. And Josie Spence crosses. Time of 4:08.36. That is a PB for her as well. Congratulations, Josie Spence and Sophie Hogan. And I just got word that the air pressure is rapidly dropping in the building, so expect some quick times this afternoon. So, great start to the races. Sophie Hogan set a 2-second PB as well. So 3 PBs in the first 4 skaters. That's really great. Now we're moving on to our second race. In the first pair, with the white armband in the inner lane, it's Saskia Alusalu from Estonia. In the outer lane, it's Erin Bartlett from the United States. In the second pair of this race, it is Victoria Spence in the inner lane with the yellow armband, and Madison Pierman in the outer lane with the blue armband. They are from BC and Alberta, respectively. So Victoria is going to look to equal or better her sister's time in this race. Always a good sibling rivalry between those two skaters. And our first pair comes through 2 laps under their belt. And they are holding some fast lap times, 31.4 and 32.2. Here comes our second pair. And they're going to cross the line, lap times of 32.3 and 32.3. So very equal race between Victoria Spence and Madison Pierman. And Madison Pierman did not know what lane to go into there, although it seems like she sorted herself out before the corner. If you remember, in 2010, that was a mistake that Sven Kramer made in his 10,000 meter. He lost the gold medal because he skated in the wrong lane, and he was the prohibitive favorite. So even the best skaters can make that mistake. Usually it's automatic, but if you let the race get to your head, sometimes you can lose track. So Maddie Pierman back on track here. And as her and Tori come down the home stretch with 4 laps to go. So they're at about the midpoint of their race right now. Let's see what lap times they're holding. 33.0 for Tori and 33.5 for Maddie Pierman. And it looks like it's going to be a close change over here. Tori slipping in behind Maddie, maybe catching a little bit of a draft. Our first pair comes through. Saskia, lap time of 33.0, and Erin Bartlett, lap time of 34.7. Saskia, one of the few speed skaters from Estonia. And here comes our second pair again. Tori taking a bit of a lead, 33.6. And Maddie Pierman holding pace with a 33.6 as well. And it's Saskia leading the first pair with 2 laps to go, 33.5. Erin Bartlett about 5 seconds back. You can tell Tori and Maddie trying to finish strong here. Bit of pain showing up in their faces with 2 laps to go. And Tori, 33.4, great lap time for her. She's holding on to her pace. And Saskia is going to come around with 1 lap to go, leaving Erin Bartlett in her wake. And 1 lap to go for Tori and Maddie, and Tori's leading with 1 lap to go. 33.94 for her, so still under 34. As Saskia comes to the line, and she will skate in a time of 4:13.89. That is a personal best for Saskia Alusalu. And Erin Bartlett will cross with a time of 4:25.86. And now Tori pushing to the line. 4:14.26. That is just 1 second off her personal best. So good race for Tori. And 4:18 for Madison Pierman, which is a personal best for her as well. So personal bests are coming out of the woodworks here. Everyone is skating fast, bettering or being near their best time ever skated. This is exactly what you want to see at finale. It's the last opportunity for these skaters to skate PBs. And we're moving right on to our third quartet. In the first pair, in the inner lane, it's Abigail Mikluski. She's from British Columbia. And in the outer lane, it's Carrie Morrison from Ontario. In the second pair, we have Sarah Spence on the inner lane and Yuka Takahashi on the outer lane. So all three Spence sisters racing 3 races in a row. And here comes that second pair. Let's see what their opener is. Expect an opener of around 20 seconds, close to 21 seconds. And our first pair comes around with 6 laps to go. So they're just getting going. At this point in the race, they really want to save their energy, get some easy speed. If they start too fast, they will empty their tank too early. Here's that second pair of the quad. Takahashi is leading Sarah Spence into the finish with 6 laps to go. And our first pair is coming around now. Carrie Morrison in the lead. Carrie Morrison is a short track skater. She was skating with the short track team until the midpoint of this season when she made the big switch to long track. And she is having great results since she made the switch over. It seems like every race she makes an improvement, and it's really exciting to see. So here's the second pair, Sarah Spence and Yuka Takahashi. They're holding times of 33.8 and 34.6. So very respectable. Expect those times to try and stay under the 34 mark. And here comes Takahashi leading Sarah Spence with 4 laps to go for those skaters. And it's a 34.5 and 35.9. So a bit of a positive split there. And the first pair is coming through. Carrie Morrison, 34.0 and 33.9. So Abigail Mikluski making up a little bit of ground on Carrie, although Carrie is going over the top of Abigail. Abigail is going to have to slip in behind her. And here's Takahashi again. Takahashi, 1 second drop. So she really has to buckle down at this point in the race before she lets too much time escape her. And Carrie Morrison, let's see if she can keep it close. Negative split for Carrie Morrison, 33.8. Fantastic. It's what you want to see with 2 laps to go. And here we are, Takahashi leading Sarah Spence. At this point, Takahashi, with 2 laps to go, will want to keep her feet moving, keep lots of pressure. As Carrie Morrison is catching up to Sarah Spence, she'll have someone in front of her to chase. It's always a nice thing when you're racing to have a target, and you can really aim for it as she goes over top of Abigail Mikluski on her last lap. Very tight on the backstretch. Carrie just slipping by Sarah Spence, using her short track skills as she goes around her. And as she comes to the line, 1 lap to go for Sarah Spence. And so Carrie Morrison is coming to the line. She's going to finish with a final time of 4:16.14. Abigail McCluskey coming by with a 4:18.05. So for Carrie Morrison, that is a big PB, 6 seconds off her previous time. And a 4-second PB for Abigail McCluskey, who just returned from China on Monday from the Junior Worlds. So she's running on short sleep and jet legs. Here comes Yuka Takahashi, finishing with a time of 4:29.30, and Sarah Spence with a 4:34.50. Those skaters missing their PBs by a few seconds. So very exciting racing so far. Lots of personal bests. Coming up, we have a 4th quad. In the inner, with the white armband, it is Carolina Hiller from BC. In the outer with the red armband, it's Adeline Monder from Alberta. Adeline Monder coming from a family of speed skaters. Her parents and her older brother all skating out of Edmonton. Now, in the second pair of this race, we have Danielle Wallish. She is from Alberta, and Yui Fujimori from Japan. There we see Adeline Monder and Carolina Hiller coming through. They have a tight race going on right now. Their personal bests are about 4 seconds apart, with Adeline Monder holding the advantage. I expect them to be quite competitive in this race. And here's our second pair with Yui Fujimori and Danielle Wallish. Danielle Wallish skated a 4:32.26 last year at Finale. That is her personal best. So expect her to be gunning for that time today. And here's our first pair again. $34.22 for Adeline Monder, $34.63 for Carolina Hiller. So Adeline Monder taking a bit of an advance here. And here comes Fujimori in lead over Danielle Wallish. And Fujimori holds a 3-second advantage over every racer in this quad. Adeline Monder is still leading down here. She's dropped an arm with 4 laps to go. Often you'll see girls do this about halfway through the 3K. It can help keep the foot tempo up and keep the skater from losing speed. Some skaters will, in fact, swing an arm the entire race. And Fujimori comes through again, and that's a 34.4 for her. 35.1 for Danielle Wallish. So Danielle Wallish letting her lap time slip a little bit. And they're going to come through here. Adeline Monder, 36.1, a bit of a positive split. Carolina Hiller, 36.6. These skaters will need to stay low and keep building their corners in order to maintain the speed. Now for Adeline Monder to set a PB, she needs to average 35.7 seconds a lap over the course of this race. So far, she's in the clear, although let's see how she does with 2 laps to go. It's a 36.6 and 36.6 for Carolina Hiller, identical lap times. Oh, no, 37.64, my bad, my mistake. And Fujimori still looking quite strong with a 36.4. She is 5 seconds up on Adeline Monder at this point in the race. As Danielle Wallish is making her way around, Adeline Monder coming into the bell lap, swinging both arms, giving it all she's got. And she's going to cross with a lap time of 37.0. Carolina Hiller, 38.10. And 1 lap to go for Yui Fujimori, who has bled speed through the latter half of this race. 37.11 is her lap time. And 36.1 for Danielle Wallish, who's making up a little bit of ground. Now we're on to the final stretch here for the two starting skaters. Adeline Monder coming into the line, swinging both arms, and she finishes at the time of 4:32.46. That is just shy of her PB, and 4:38 for Carolina Hiller. And Fujimori will cross with a time of 4:27. That is a 1 second PB for Yui Fujimori. And Danielle Wallish skated a 4:29, which is also a personal best. Congratulations to those two skaters. So the racing continues here at the Olympic Oval. We're into our 5th quad. This is with skaters Shoko Tanaka in the white armband out of Japan, and Lindsay Kent in the red armband from Manitoba. And they are about to start. Thank you for tuning in to this live broadcast. Tune in tomorrow for some more exciting races. And the gun has gone off and the racers have started. In the second pair of this 5th quad, we have Olivia Moyes from Saskatchewan and Gabrielle Jelonek from Quebec. So this is Shoko Tanaka and Lindsay Kent coming through 200 meters into the race, openers of 21 seconds. Shoko Tanaka's PB is 4:30. Expect her to attempt to race with lap times under mid-35s. So that's 35.5s in order to skate her personal best. Lindsay Kent will need to be around the same pace as her PB is a 4:33. And they come through on the first lap, and let's see what those first lap times were. 33.5 and 33.5, identical lap times. These two skaters are on pace so far. So here comes our second pair. This is Olivia Moyes and Gabrielle Jelonek. These are both two young skaters born in the year 2000. And they come through with lap times of 35.2 and 36.5. So these guys are skating a little more conservatively than the first pair, which can be a wise strategy at times. Some skaters will tend to jump the gun a little bit and try and skate too fast in the first laps, which can really hurt you by the end of the race. So here comes Gabrielle Jelonek through with a 36.0 and Olivia Moyes with a 36.7. Gabrielle is Gregor Jelonek's daughter. Gregor is a coach out of Quebec City. He skates with he coaches the national team through the training center in Sainte-Foy, Quebec. So here they come again. Good technique from these two skaters. they want to make sure that they keep their weight transfer from side to side, nice and efficient strides. So both slowing down a little bit, but that's okay in the 3,000 meter. It's a shorter distance than the 5,000s, which we watched earlier today. So you can afford to lose a bit of time every lap. And our first pair is through. That was Shoko Tanaka and Lindsay Kent. And they are skating still under their target pace. So quite a good race for those two skaters in the first pair. Now, Gabrielle Jelenec's PB is a 4:57.49, and that was set in Quebec City. So outdoors, expect her to smash that PB here this weekend. The indoor ice at the Oval offers a lot of advantages. You don't have any wind to contend with. The ice is a lot cleaner, and they can control the temperature and speed of the ice a lot more easily. You can expect up to 2 to 3 seconds a lap faster in Calgary than you could in an outdoor rink. So Jelenec will cross the lap time of 37.2. And Lindsay Kent had to pass Olivia Moyes there. Luckily, she got by safely as they're on to their last lap for this first pair. And they're still holding pace for a personal best. So these two skaters are doing great. So as we get a shot of a skater warming up on the inner track, speed skating is kind of unique, and she'll have to stay on the ice here. I'm going to watch that she stays in her lane, Gabrielle Jelenec. She comes in with 1 lap to go. And they are going to finish Tanaka with a time of 4:25.35. Lindsay Kent with a time of 4:26.06. Big PBs for both of these skaters. It's almost 7-second PB for Lindsay Kent and a 5-second PB for Shoko Tanaka. The ice is very fast here today at the Olympic Oval. Lots of penguins to be won. That is the prize that these skaters win for skating a PB. And Jelenec will finish the time of 4:40.74. That is 17 seconds off her previous best time. And 4:46.73 for Olivia Moyes. And that is a little bit off her PB. But I'm sure she'll be back tomorrow with some new fast races. And we are on to the next race. In this race, in the inner lane of the first pair, we have Annabelle Dubreuil from Quebec. And in the outer lane with the red armband, we have Caroline Gingras, also from Quebec. So a duel between the two Quebecers here in the first pair. The second pair of this quad is Alison Desmarais in the inner lane from BC and Anne-Marie Vanderval from the Netherlands. As they come through after their first 200 meters. So all the racers trying to gain some easy speed early in this race. Keep their strides nice and long and efficient. Look for that weight transfer where their hips move from side to side. And here is the second pair coming through with 6 laps to go. Alison Desmarais is leading. She skated a lap time of 33.5, so this is quite a fast start for this pair between Alison Desmarais and Anne-Marie Vanderval. Annabelle Dubreuil and Caroline Gingras are taking a bit of a slower approach to this race. Annabelle Dubreuil is the youngest sister of the Dubreuil family. Laurent Dubreuil is the oldest brother. He is a national team skater. He also holds the junior world record in the 500 meters. So Annabelle Dubreuil hoping to follow in her older brother's footsteps. And here they come. Annabelle Dubreuil comes through with a lap time of 36.92. Caroline Gingras is coming through with a time of 37.65. And here's the second quad. They've slowed down quite a bit. They are now at lap times around 36 seconds, so 35 and 36. Now, Annabelle Dubreuil and Caroline Gingras have identical PBs at 4:39.28. Fun fact. And here's the second pair. They banked a little bit of time at the start of the race, so they should still have an advantage on the first pair. And it's Van der Waal staying under 36 seconds with a 35.67. So she's holding on to a good pace here. And here is Dubreuil leading Gingras. Dubreuil, in fact, will be going to school next year in Montreal. This is her last competition, so the last competition of her career, probably the last 3K. So let's see how well she does. As this first pair is starting to catch, or the second pair is starting to catch the first pair. That's the yellow and blue armbands. Van der Waal still on a very good race, holding under 36 seconds a lap. With one lap to go for Dubreuil, with a 38.80, and Gingras with a 40.95. As Van der Waal approaches her and will pass her, attempt to pass her cleanly. And Dubreuil, hand on her knee as she tries to get to the line, her last 100 meters here. Everything hurts at this point. She's just trying to keep her speed and cross the line with as good a time as she can get. And that time will be a 4:46.48. And it is Van der Waal finishing with a time of 4:34.17. Very good race for her, strong finish. And Alison Desmarais will finish with a 4:42.09. That is 2 seconds off her PB. So some good racing here today. And now we are on to the 7th quad of the ladies 3K competition. In the inner lane, we have Jasmine Chase from Ontario. And in the outer lane, Samara Thu from BC. So Thu with a strong start here. She's really winding it up. And then in the second pair of this race, we have Laurence Paquet from Quebec in the yellow armband, and Taylor White from Ontario in the blue armband. And Taylor White is wearing a Swedish suit. And 2 arms here from Thu. She's really going for it in this race. Her lap time, 35:15. Quite quick, 36:20 for Jasmine Chase. Now our second pair is coming through, Laurence Paquet. You'll notice that she's wearing a covering over her mouth. Some skaters will wear these scarves over their mouths in order to maintain the humidity for their breath. The air in Calgary is quite dry, and it can really dry out your lungs, which can affect your performance. So some skaters prefer to mix their breathing in with a bit of their, the moisture that comes when they breathe outwards, and you get a little bit less of a cough when you finish the race. So here come Paquet and Taylor White. They come through lap times of 35.5 and 36.0. So solid race from these two so far. They're going to look to maintain that speed and maintain their technique on the backstretch. And 2 arms still from Jasmine Chase. Giving everything. Good heart here. 4 laps to go. 38.19 and 37.74 for Samara Thu. As Taylor White comes through with a 36.15, still staying in those low 36, high 35s. Great place to be right now. She's going to want to maintain those lap times. And this is Samara Thu still leading this first pair, swinging both arms. And with a 38.99, so under 39 seconds. Good time for her. And Jasmine Chase, the 38.3. This is with 2 laps to go for both of these pairs. This is the point in the race when they really want to buckle down and keep low and keep their technique to maintain their speed. If you give anything away at this point in the race, it is almost impossible to gain the time back. So here comes this first pair through with 2 laps to go. Swinging both arms is still Samara Thu, 40.13. So just sneaking above that 40-second barrier as Jasmine Chase is closing the gap here with a 39.35. And Laurence Paquet coming through, 37.15. She's holding some fast lap times. So tight race here with 1 lap to go. Let's see what happens as these 2 skaters come through. 400 meters left. And they're neck and neck. Samara Thu holding a hair's breadth of advantage. And it's Taylor White leading the second pair through. As they get to the backstretch, they're in an epic battle here. 200 meters left. Giving everything they've got. As they come to the line, neck and neck, Jasmine Chase and Samara Thu. This is going to be a tight one as Chase takes it with a 4. Chase takes it with a 4:52.44, and Samara Thu with a 4:52.63. That was a close race. So we have 2 races remaining here in this ladies 3,000 meters at the Olympic Oval finale, with 8 competitors. So here goes the first one. In the inner lane, it's Jesslyn Chandler from Ontario. And in the outer lane, it's Marianne Portelance, also from Ontario. And Chantler will lead the pair in through the first 200 meters. Solid start for her, 21:53. So that's a very competitive opener. It'll lay a good foundation for a good race. As our second pair goes, in their second pair, we have Connie Capac from Alberta and Jill Yuen also from Alberta. And it is Capac leading the pair in through the first 100 meters. As our first pair comes around after their first lap, let's see what kind of lap times they are setting themselves up with for the rest of the race. And it's a 34:0 and 34:8. So very competitive lap times. That's a solid start for these two skaters. Let's see if they can hold on to it. And Connie Capac and Jill Yuen will come through here neck and neck. Let's see what kind of pace they are on. 35:7 and 35:9. So about a second slower. That doesn't necessarily mean that the first pair will beat them at the line, because anything can happen throughout the rest of the race. So let's see who Jesslyn Chantler, a 36:0. So settling in at a bit slower a pace. It's probably wise. Now, Jesslyn Chantler is going to be looking to better her time of 4:51. So a 4:51 or a 4:50 is an average of 38.4 seconds a lap. So look for her to average faster than that. She's a good chance of doing that, given that her first lap was a 34. So she's setting herself up well for a PB. So still under that 38-second mark for both of these skaters as our second pair comes through. And it is Connie Capac crossing with a 38 flat. And Jill Yuen a little bit behind her with a 39.5. So Chantler is still looking fairly strong, 38.1. Starting to stiffen up a little bit. And Connie Capac still under 39 seconds. So it's a good lap time for her, very consistent. Jill Yuen just over 40. And Jesslyn Chantler still looking strong. Long stride, swinging an arm the whole way, keeping that tempo up. 38.9. And Portelance with a 40.91. So this is a tight race here between all four of these skaters. Marianne Portelance trying to better her time of 4:50.61. As Jill Yuen comes through, her lap time 41.27. With one lap to go here for Jesslyn Chantler, she is just over 40 seconds. Let's see if she can maintain her speed and beat her PB. It's going to be tight. And one lap to go here for Connie Capac. And Jill Yuen with one lap to go as Jesslyn Chantler comes down the final stretch, swinging both arms. She's tired. She's looking over at the time. Let's see what it is. It's a 4:46.72. That is a personal best. Congratulations, Jesslyn Chantler. Marianne Portelance finishing with a 4:55.0, so a little bit off of hers. And Connie Capac will skate across the line with a 4:45.83. That is a 7-second PB for her. Congratulations. And Jill Yuen will cross with a 5:03.03. So excellent racing here this afternoon. We've seen lots of PBs, and there's only one race left for the entire day. So coming up in this last race of the Olympic Oval finale ladies 3K, the last official race, there is an out of competition race which we'll race afterwards. Coming up in this last race, in the inner lane we have Alexa Scott. She is from Manitoba with the yellow suit. It appears that she is skating on her own, so that means that Pauline Sutherland has scratched. So Alexa Scott alone in this first pair. As I was saying earlier, racing alone, especially in a long race, can be a blessing or it can be a curse. Racing on your own means that you get to skate at your own pace, race your own race. You don't worry about the person beside you. But it also means you don't necessarily have someone to push you or to challenge you. Now, in our second pair of this quad, already off the line, we have Katja Lutz from Switzerland and Jenna Mirth from Alberta. So Lutz is in the yellow armband and Mirth in the blue armband. So Lutz crosses with a lap time of 34:12, or 34:45, and Mirth with a lap time of 34:12. So very good times at this point in the race with 4 laps to go. And Scott will cross the lap time of 35:4. So this quad, they are starting fast. And so Lutz, 35.1, and Jenna Mirth with a 36.2. These skaters are slowing down a little bit, but the lap times are still very competitive. As Alexa Scott comes around, her PB is a 4:58.56, and her lap time is a 35.8. If she keeps this up, she is going to smash her PB by several seconds. Now, Lutz coming through, leading the second pair. Her lap time was 36.9 and 38.2 for Jenna Mirth. So Jenna Mirth closing ground on Katja Lutz at this point in the race. As Alexa Scott comes through with 3 laps to go, she's on a great pace so far, looking very steady. Her technique is holding together quite nicely, 36.3. And now Lutz is pulling away from Jenna Mirth here. Still looking strong with her technique. And a 38.6. And Jenna Mirth has relented on her attack a little bit. 39.8. Still good splits for these guys, especially since they started quick. So Scott keeping it under 38 here, 37.7. She needs to keep her feet moving through these last few laps. And Katja Lutz will come through with 2 laps to go. And let's see, 40.0. So a positive split for her, and the same for Jenna Mirth, 40.7. So 1 lap to go here for Alexa Scott. 38.9. And as long as she does an under 58-second lap, she will skate a PB. As she's coming around with 200 meters to go, Katja Lutz and Jenna Mirth with 1 lap to go. Jenna Mirth slowing down her tempo a little bit, 41.5 and 41.9 for Jenna Mirth. 1 lap to go though, so they're almost there as Alexa Scott is coming down the finish line. And she's going to stretch for the line, finish with a time of 4:39.83. That is a 20-second PB. And here come the last pair. Jenna Lutz pushing to the line, keeping her hands off her knees. Her legs are screaming out, and she crosses the line with a 4:52.09. That is a PB for her as well. 4:55 for Jenna Mirth, and that is also a PB of 8 seconds. So that wraps up the in-competition 3Ks at the Olympic Oval finale for the ladies. There will now be an out-of-competition race featuring a few skaters. But so far we have seen some great races so far from all competitors today. Several PBs in the 5Ks for the men, and a great number of PBs in the 3Ks for the ladies. So some fast ice here at the Olympic Oval.